this one is too small. Let's try another one. This one also. This one even smaller. So I wanted to use today a mainspring winder, but unfortunately I don't have the right size, so I will have to wind the mainspring very traditional way. That's the direction that the mainspring should go into the barrel. So yeah, I will use my fingers instead of mainspring winder. It's not the best method, but anyway, welcome on Ticking Watch, and in today's video I will finally finish my POLJOT with a movement caliber 26-27. So that's the second part. If you didn't saw the first part, feel free to visit Ticking Watch and see also part number 1 and of course my other videos. Okay, now oiling the barrel inside. There was already a little bit grease, but now very thick oil, and when this both solution mix, it will give a very good lubrication to this mainspring. From the barrel cover we can see that the watch was working many hours, so it is quite a used watch and probably many parts of it should be replaced for new one. I don't think that today this movement is still produced. Maybe some new old stock can be found, but well, that's the mainspring barrel. Now here I have the automatic complication, so it has a separate bridge, almost like any other watch, but this one is a little bit different, and the first thing that I have to do is to just assemble it. So let's start the assembly with this automatic complication or automatic work. Here are two screws. These tiny screws look similar, but in fact they are different, and someone before me mixed these two, and yeah, if you look carefully you maybe will see the slight difference. I didn't measure them, so but anyway, it seems there is 1/10 of millimeter difference between them. And in POLJOT watch, especially in this type of movement, this caliber 26-27, there's a lot of small screws, springs, and quite a lot of parts in general. Anyway, you will see, and it makes this watch a little bit complicated, and you need some effort and time to assemble it. And of course, remember all the parts. My suggestion here is to sort the part and do not mix them, because during the assembly you can have some problems to find the right one, or it will just take much more time to make the full assembly. And I hope with this video you will find some help. Okay, now the center will reach. And let's talk maybe a little bit about the POLJOT company history, because the history began in fact in 1930 when a company established in USA. That's a little bit ironic here. So Soviet company that was established in United States, Amtorg Trading Corporation, that's its name. I hope my pronunciation is correct here. And this Amtorg bought in 1929 an Ansonia Clock Corporation of Brooklyn, New York, and also they bought a second US watch company. It was Juberhampton Watch Company of Canton in Ohio. The end of 1929, it was in fact a begin of the Great Depression in the United States, and during such depression or recessions, it's always a great opportunity to buy some company. And so done also this Amtrak company, which actually was representing Soviet Union at that time. What happened next? A large number of machinery were moved from these companies to Moscow actually, and there in 1930 was established the first state watch factory. During the first 5 years, former Juberhampton watchmakers, engravers and other technicians helped to train the Russian workers in the art of watchmaking, and even in the first years of the production on the watches were still stamped Juberhampton, Canton, Ohio, USA. So that's the ironic, I think, because later after the Second World War, USA was the biggest enemy for Soviet Union, and of course vice versa. Anyway, after the Second World War, the company started the production in a large number, so they started to produce wristwatches under the brand name Pobieda. They also started to produce first marine chronometers, and in the first years of 1950s the number of production was very respectable, because it was over 1 million timepieces per year. And in the 1975 they bought or imported an equipment and machinery for more complex and complicated watches directly from Switzerland, and they started to produce the first chronograph caliber 3133. I think all watch enthusiasts know this caliber, these POLJOT chronographs that was used later in the space station Soyuz. In the 1990, the production of watches and clocks reached about 5 million pieces per year. Two very important names connected with POLJOT watches. First it was Yuri Gagarin, the second one was cosmonaut Alexei Leonov, and Yuri Gagarin, as we know, was the first man in space, and he was wearing during this flight his Szturmańskie or Sturmańskie. Szturmańskie was built in the first Moscow watch company, and Szturmańskie we can translate to navigator. The second cosmonaut, Alexei Leonov, in 1965 was wearing a watch named Strela, so it's an arrow. It was a chronograph, and during his space flight he made also a first space walk with this chronograph. And these two famous watches, the first Moscow watch factory, started in the beginning of 21st century to reproduce, and we can still find them on eBay or in other shops. The rights to the name Szturmańskie belongs to Volmax. That's a company that is based in Moscow and also in Switzerland. And the current state of POLJOT company, for me at least, is rather unclear. I cannot say if this company is still producing watches in Moscow. Maybe you know. You probably heard also about Seconda. That's a brand that was present in United Kingdom, and in the past they sold actually POLJOT and Raketa watches under this Seconda name, but today Seconda is still a British company and distributing rather fashion watches. The last thing that I want to add about this POLJOT history is that the name POLJOT first appeared in 1964 and POLJOT means flight. Okay, let's come back to our assembly. The current state now is that I'm finishing the keyless work here, and then I will be working with all parts that are on the dial side, so all the date changing and other wheels. So let's enjoy this part. Anyway, if you have any comments, opinion or questions, feel free to use comment section down below. And if it's the case that you didn't subscribe yet, I think that's a good time to smash the like button and also to subscribe and turn on the bell notification, because in this way you will be notified anytime when I upload new content. Let's continue our assembly. On this side we have quite a lot of parts, many springs and other levers and so on. Anyway, you will see this. Stay tuned. Here will be a little bit interesting because this is the quick date set feature and we can manually change the days of the month, and this lever didn't work properly, so I hope when I will assemble it then it will work again. This spring here is very important, so it looks like when it is assembled, now the date dial ring. Here's also a setting lever with a spring, of course. I don't know how many springs this movement here has. From this side I see here at least 3. One has also a yoke spring, so we have 4. Okay, covering plate. Let's check it. Okay, it's working like it should. Chung, 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 chung. Okay, here is another lever with spring. And this is another date dial on which we have days of the week. check if this is working. Okay. Let's secure it. By this watch, in my opinion, the date works much better. Here I forgot to secure this lever, so I will do this now with this thing. I don't know how to call it, some protection. Fortunately for me, I don't need to disassemble the wheels bridge, so I can do this in this way, and it's on place. There is a little gap, and this gap is enough to install this protection. If you maybe know how I should call this protection, you can tell me in the comment section down below. Okay, I think now it will be very important moment. Pallet fork and the balance. Here's also a distance plate. You cannot forget about it, because so the balance will not work properly, or if he will ever, probably it won't. And here the way how I'm assembling this shock spring is a little bit different. We need to push one end to the gap and secure it with the other. Needs some training, believe me. Okay. Now the dial. Some ring, distance ring, plastic, and that's the dial. And also this metal ring, so the movement holder. The hands. So I know if you saw the first part, you probably remember that some the indexes just drop off. Now I'm using here a standard glue, something like super glue, and we'll just fix them with this second part of the dial, because here we have actually two dials. We'll see also my hair, so please apologize that. Anyway, not very sophisticated task. This dial isn't in very good condition, fortunately. I think some water or humidity was able to sneak into the case, and therefore it looks like it looks. Probably there are some methods to clean this. I will not try it. Now the push button, it doesn't have any spring. The spring that you saw before, this one is responsible to push it back, this button, so not the best way. Here also a ring. secure also my hair, so please apologize that. Now the dial. And the crystal, fortunately I don't have a spare crystal, so I a little bit polish it, and I hope it won't crack when I will push it connected with the case. So a little bit risky here. Also here. Okay, I don't see here any cracks, so I think I was successful. I think I am successful. And now how the date changes, in my opinion, much better than, for example, in Seiko 5. Yeah, well, I think Japanese could check or investigate the solution here. Okay, the hands, the minute hand now. Second hand. We are not very far away from the final product. So now we will recase the movement. Winding stem. Okay. There is also some part that need to be installed, so all the automatic winding works or complication. We'll do this on the end. Okay, the wheels are engaging. Now I can secure this bridge with the screws. And of course the rotor. I'm just checking to be sure that the rotor is working properly, is engaging all the wheels. And well, slowly I will be finishing this video and this episode, the second part. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. I see many marks here, so some watchmakers were already servicing this watch. Case back. So again, thank you for watching, for tuning in. I hope you enjoy it. If you have any questions, use the comment section down below. I think when the watch was new, it was quite a good looking timepiece. So the bracelet left. I think this one will fit perfectly to this vintage POLJOT. That's all from my side. See also my other videos. I'm out. Bye.